All right, let's get right into it. Think of this as your mission briefing for one of the most important parts of the SSC English exam, sentence transformation. We're going to break it all down, figure out the patterns, and give you the exact tools you need to absolutely master it.
So here it is. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is all about question number 13. This one's a big deal. It's worth a full 8 marks, and you can't just memorize it from a textbook. This is where pure grammar skill comes into play. Our goal? Nothing less than 100% accuracy. Let's do this.
Okay, so first things first. We have to master the fundamental tactics. And our first stop is a real classic, the conversion between active and passive voice. You have got to get this right every single time.
The core technique here is something I call the swap method. And honestly, it's pretty simple. You just swap the subject and the object. But, and this is the part you absolutely cannot forget, the main verb, no matter what it was before, has to be converted into its V3 form, the past participle. So Nick plays football becomes football is played by Nick. See? Simple swap.
And here we can see it in action, which is great. Take Lincoln faced many failures. That's a past tense sentence, right? Well, it becomes many failures were faced by Lincoln. Notice how the tense stays in the past? The only thing that really changes is the structure. Now, you do have to watch out for special cases, like commands. A sentence like, shut the door, becomes let the door be shut.
All right, let's move on to the next piece of the puzzle. This is what we'll call the protocol for indirect speech. Think of this as reporting from the field. It's all about telling someone what another person said, without using direct quotes.
And to do this right, you just need to follow a simple 4-step protocol. It's like a checklist. 1. Change the reporting verb, so said to might become told or asked. 2. Get rid of the quotation marks completely. 3, and this is a big one, you take the tense one step back into the past. And 4, you update any context words, so tomorrow becomes the next day.
Now that whole tense shifting thing can feel a little tricky, so here's a great way to remember it. Just think of it like a time machine. The reason is simple, really. You're reporting what someone said from a later point in time, so you're looking back. So you literally take their words one step back in time. Present becomes past. And if it was already in the past, well, you just go one step further back to the past perfect. And for words like I or you, here's another simple analogy. You're just changing your point of view. When you're quoting someone directly, you're in the conversation. But when you're reporting it, you're an outsider looking in. So of course, I has to become he or she. You've gone from being a participant to being a reporter.
Okay, reporting questions is a key skill. The verb usually becomes asked, which makes sense. Then you need a linking word. If it's a yes or no question, you'll use if. But if it's a WH question, like who, what, or why, the question word itself becomes the linker. And here's the bit that trips people up. Notice how the question mark completely disappears in the final sentence. You don't need it anymore.
Okay, so now that you've got those fundamentals locked down, it's time to level up. Let's move on to some advanced maneuvers. These are the tools that are going to help you tackle the full range of transformations you'll see in question 13.
First up, degrees of comparison, Model 1. This is the one you use when you're talking about the absolute best. Number 1, top of the list. Just look at the structure here. You can say it's the best, or better than any other, or even no other was as good as. All three of those sentences mean the exact same thing. They're just expressed differently.
But what if something isn't the single best, but it's, up there in the top tier? Well, that's where Model 2 comes in. The language here is just a little more subtle. It becomes one of the best books, or better than many other books. That tiny little difference between any other and many other is small, but it is absolutely vital to get right.
Next, let's look at conditionals. And don't worry, this is just pure logic. Use unless to connect a negative condition to a negative result. Unless you wear a helmet, you can't ride. On the flip side, you use as long as for a positive condition that leads to a positive result. As long as she takes medicine, she will recover. It's all about matching the logic to the right linker.
I want you to think of linkers, or conjunctions, as grammatical puzzle pieces. Some of them, like and or but, are for joining two equally important ideas. That's how you build a nice, balanced compound sentence. Others, like because or which, connect a main idea to a smaller, supporting one. That's how you create a more detailed, complex sentence that shows a cause and effect relationship.
Question tags. These are surprisingly simple if you just think of them like a math equation. Positive statement plus a negative tag. Negative statement plus a positive tag. It's just a simple balancing act. So it will rain, which is positive, gets the negative tag, won't it? See? Easy.
But of course, with every rule, there are a couple of critical exceptions you just have to memorize. And these two are the most common traps. I'm a doctor doesn't become am't I. No, it becomes aren't I. It's weird, I know. And any suggestion that starts with let's automatically gets the tag shall we. Just lock those two into your memory.
We're in the final stretch now, so it's time for a rapid-fire review of the most important rules to guarantee success. This is your final strategy checklist. Let's make sure we've got this down. Okay, let's run through the do's checklist. 1. In passive voice, that main verb is always V3. 2. Use the correct conjunctions to build your sentences properly. And 3. In indirect speech, you always have to adjust the pronouns and time words. These are totally non-negotiable. And just as important, here are your don'ts. Do not change the tense in passive voice. Do not keep the quotation marks in indirect speech. And do not change the tense for universal truths. I mean, the sun still rises in the east, even in reported speech. And please, do not forget the question mark at the end of a question tag. These are the little mistakes that cost people marks.
And that is it. You have the tactics, the protocols, and the advanced maneuvers. You are now fully equipped to handle pretty much anything question 13 throws at you. You are ready to ace this exam.
So the most important thing to remember is this. Grammar isn't about memorizing 1,000 random rules, it's about understanding the system. You now have the system, you get the logic, so go forward, execute with confidence, and secure those 8 marks. Mission accomplished.